Hey everyone, this is Vegan Mark here. I want to do a video on poor people because when I was selling the big issue, this woman came up to me and told me that, rather vaguely at first, that there was a homeless guy sleeping on her property. She didn't explain that it was, she explained that it was her church. And I found out that she was the priest's wife. So she felt obliged in some way to allow this homeless person to sleep on the church premises, because she explained that a church is neither public nor private property. And I think she felt sorry for this guy and she wanted to do everything to save him from discomfort and suffering. But it's really hard with homeless people because they're kind of quirky and they have weird ways, and trying to help them is very awkward sometimes because you don't know if they're on drugs or if they have enough money to live on. So what I wanted to talk about was the idea that if I was myself a homeless person, which I'm not, but if I was, what sorts of things would I do? I'm a pretty good saver of money. I've saved up a lot of money in my life, not a lot, but many thousands of dollars saved up because I was taught that habit as a young child, that I would never overspend and I would never waste my money recklessly on things which I didn't need. So I think that in this world, if you are careful enough with your money, you won't be living on the streets. Although I wouldn't be able to know for sure if I was living in somewhere like India or, I don't know, Cambodia or some poor country. It could be rather difficult to live there. But I know that in Australia, if you have a pension, even if you're on New Start, which is apparently a very low allowance every week, I still feel that if you save up properly, you won't be suffering too much. And there are certain things that you can do with your lifestyle habits to make sure that you're not living the worst life in sufferance and discomfort. Although it's not ideal, obviously. There are some things that I would do, such as budgeting, for example. Rent's very expensive in Australia, so rent you'll normally pay, if you're by yourself, if you're a single person, you'll likely pay a rent of at least $200 a week, especially if you're living alone and you can't stand living with other people. If you have your own apartment, it's at least $200 a week. Sometimes a lot more than that, sometimes $300 a week, $340 a week. So that's a real bummer, and it means that you have much less to spend on other things. Like food is an essential. So food and accommodation are the worst things that you have to think about. Now with food, you can eat out a lot still and only spend like $20 a day, which is probably not too much for most people. If you cook for yourself at home, you probably save quite a little bit of money. Not a lot, but if you're eating a vegan diet, for example, you'll save a lot of money that way. Just by making your own food, like basic food like brown rice, pasta with vegetables, stir fry, add some lentils or beans or peas, and put some sauces in, and you have a pretty good meal, and you have some bread on the side maybe. This is just a basic way of looking at things. I know that if you're a good cook, you could probably cook something a lot better than that, but this is just the basic meal that you might be able to have. I would choose to buy food like this, food that I bought from the local Korean supermarket. It's a packet of noodles and it cost me $5.55 for a 5-pack. So each meal of noodles, excluding vegetables which I add in, would cost $1.11. And this is Vegan Society approved, as you can see. It's pretty special. So you can see that logo there. I'll just give a close-up of that. It's pretty cool. The vegetables themselves, if you buy frozen vegetables, it would cost you $3 for an entire kilo of chopped peas, beans, corn, and carrots, which is pretty good. And they're healthy vegetables, and they won't make you unhealthy and fat if you eat them in moderation. Yeah. So while I feel sorry for homeless people, some people say that, you know, homeless people bring it upon themselves to be in uncomfortable situations. I don't believe that to be true. I think that it's quite complex. I think that homeless people can have terrible histories where they've been abused and neglected and they don't feel like they can put their life back together. I feel sorry for them, I do, and I feel like I would like to help them, but I can't sometimes, except help myself. I would also ask them to get a job. So, you know, if I was homeless, completely homeless, I would try to sell the Big Issue magazine and tell people that I was homeless and try to make a little bit of money that way. I might only be earning like $20 a day. Even if I worked the whole day and earned $20, I would still be able to afford somewhere to live or somewhere to stay. So $20 a day is enough to stay in a hostel, and you know, at least you've got a bed to lie on, and you're not out in the cold, putting your head in a concrete garage way or something. You know, so there are ways to get around being homeless and being a beggar. Well, being a beggar is not bad. If you're a beggar, one thing you can do is get a musical instrument and start playing it, and you know, like play the harmonica or a recorder or something, and people will stop by and say, you know, I want to help you, and they will help you. It's not ideal, but you know, you'll get by, and life can be tough, but there are ways to get past that. And you may not have the best healthcare, education, and stuff like that, but there are ways to survive, you know. If you've got children and dependents, that makes it much more difficult, and I wouldn't suggest having children at any stage of your life. If at some stage of your life you decide to have children, it would be a pretty bad decision. And being an antinatalist, I would definitely advise against it. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. There are obviously free food places, so you can find out where they supply free food to people who are on a low budget. The food there is probably not too great, but it will satisfy you and fill your tummy and make you feel less lonely. You get to meet people and you get to socialize. And the food would probably be fairly healthy, but not optimal, because I think they might serve vegetable soup or bread or maybe fresh fruit, which is pretty good. Just basic stuff which will get you by and make you feel satisfied for a while. Although there's an inclination to overeat if that happens, because you're eating food which is not particularly appetizing, but hopefully it's just a way to get by for a while until you can afford a can of baked beans or something. Yeah. Hope you had a good listen, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.